have been able to make it, we'll be able to see it on our website. And one more time, could you repeat your question one more time?
So basically I said like we are social distancing, but will there be any times take into consideration we're taking precautions that we come together as a group? Because I know like last step we all came to the lounge for like meetings and stuff. So will stuff like that be taking place or will we just be like behind our computer when we do stuff like that?
Yeah, so those would really depend. We're doing things in the safest way possible, and so if there were to be like the group meeting of like the entire cohort coming together, it would definitely be done in a way where we are spaced out. More than likely, it's like we've looked at the weather. It's going to be a nice day, so it's maybe an activity or something that we're going to do outside. Um, but but yeah, in terms of everybody coming together for some of those like trainings and and even many of the team building things, uh, much of that would be done via the virtual platform. So whether we're using Zoom or or some of those things, but yeah, we would be using Zoom, and especially I think when we get into the student panel soon. Um, I believe Jenny especially would be able to tell you about a number of the things that the STEP 2020 cohort did, because they were fully virtual this past summer. But yet we were still able to do things through Zoom, using breakout rooms, doing community building activities, and all types of things like that, even virtually.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, I have one more question.
Okay.
So like during the summer with the staff, like we would be doing like I guess more of virtual activities, but we would be in person. Like how does that mix work per se?
Yeah. No. So as I was mentioning, everyone would be living, in the residence halls. Once again, I make sure that I say this every time, like in a safe way. So I make sure that that's known, but everyone would be living, in a safe way in the residence halls. And so for many of even the things in which we as staff are interacting with each other, full-time staff, step assistants, there's still a lot that we would end up doing, through Zoom. So our trainings can be done through Zoom. We're teaching you how to use those technology pieces as well, because, for example, I mean, this is being done on Zoom, but we're going to have Zoom training, so you can know how you want to set up events. We'll do trainings with Canvas as well. Always make sure I say it right. Yeah, Canvas. If I think many of you are probably already familiar with Canvas, it's basically the new Blackboard. So we'll be teaching you how to use Canvas, because we actually have a step course set up in Canvas, and so it'll sort of function that way, almost like a class does. But I mean, I say it in a sense of, so it'll be attached to your calendar. You know that, at 1 o'clock, I have this class. At 3 o'clock, we have this online event. Um, I think all of you being involved with, or most of you being involved with STEP, one of our things is, okay, everyone needs to meet with the Career Center, and, you submit that resume project. Even that, okay, I have to upload my resume into Canvas, and it's giving me a reminder. So we'll teach how to use all of those systems. Yeah, that sort of makes sense, or did that answer it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, cool. Well, with that being said, we are about to start our student panel in just a moment. Let's see here. So, so as we get into the student panel, the reason we want to do this is to be able to give you all an opportunity to really uh, ask some questions to our step panelists, to really see like what their experiences were, and allow you to really openly just like speak with them in terms of, how was this experience, and some of those things. Because I know you all love hearing me talk, but I think I think definitely their experience is very key because they were really like on the ground in it as step students and or as these step assistants, so they can really speak better into on the ground how it looks. So yeah, if you all want to take just a moment to sort of reintroduce yourselves.
So I'll go. My name is Joshua Dancer. My pronouns are he, him, and his. As you can see, I was in STEP 2017 and then returned the next year at STEP 2018 as a STEP assistant. I'm happy to be here.
Yep, I'll introduce myself. My name is Jenny, pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I was the step assistant for summer 2020.
Hi everyone, I'm Christina. My pronouns are she, her. Like Joshua, I participated in STEP 2017 and then I was assistant in 2018.
And then, yeah, Alicia, if you want to reintroduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alicia. I was not a STEP assistant. I was a STEP student in the class of 2020. My pronouns are she, hers.
And also, I'm just going to do this. So yeah, I just stopped sharing because I think this makes it better. We can all see each other now. Um, so I will start off. Essentially, I'm going to start off with the first question, and then from here, I'm really going to let Alicia take it over as our moderator from there, because just to give you all a full student experience. And I will come back in, of course, if there are any questions for me, but I really want you all to be able to ask those sort of on the ground questions and get those answers um, that are definitely, very important and pertinent to what you'll be doing. So let's see here. For our very first question. All right. So our very first question, I'll ask. Actually, let's make this a two-parter. A two-parter. What was your favorite part about being a step assistant? And then also, what was your least favorite part about the position?
I can try and answer this first. So my favorite part or the most rewarding part about being a STEP assistant was definitely the relationships that I built while I was doing STEP. So definitely like the relationships you make with like the students, like as a mentor, I feel like are just a huge benefit. I still keep in contact with a lot of the students who I was a mentor for, and I hear about the things that they do now, whether it be like internships or things they're doing on campus, jobs. And they still kind of come to me for advice. So I think that's really it's really nice, I think, especially if some of you have done STEP in the past before, like I'm sure maybe you've come to STEP assistants, like, and they help you as well. So I would say that's definitely my favorite part. I don't have a least favorite part, believe it or not. Um, I guess, hmm, I don't know, Shannon, that's a really difficult one. I genuinely, like when I think back to my STEP experience, like I can only think of positive things. So sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what. In a minute, I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna black out the screen, and Alicia takes over, and you can be open. Then you can let them know. You can be like, this is the part that I hated. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Now, I'm good next. As y'all know, Christina and I had the pleasure of being in STEP again and then working together as STEP assistant. And I would disagree. I think the relationships was so valuable. I think you sometimes don't realize how much you can help folks. And really, help them navigate. The experience of being in STEP is a unique experience, let alone being at AU can be a unique experience. And so really serving as, a navigator, helping them navigate, helping them be a support system in the sounding board. And I often say, this was told to us, that step assistants aren't just, assistants for the summer, but usually they go throughout their journey and keeping in contact and helping throughout people's experiences and journeys through AU. So that's been the benefit. It's been a benefit and a great thing to see uh, our like step mentees and step students thrive and navigate being at AU. I would say something that was challenging, and this comes, towards at least favorite experience. This kind of goes with um, in-person programming, which won't really necessarily happen like that. It's just sometimes having ideas that didn't get to be achieved, and sometimes coordinating logistics, especially like museum visits, getting all these tickets to African American Smithsonian, or taking them paddle boating can sometimes be hard, and it can be kind of frustrating when you have something planned and the weather interrupts it, or you can't get enough tickets for this, or and so even though you won't have that necessarily struggle per se, I would just say that always have a backup plan. Always, think about something that you can do uh, as a plan B, plan C, in position, but have someone adaptable for.
Yeah, just jumping in, I think on top of like building relationships with the participants, for me, I really liked developing a relationship with CDI professional staff. I feel like in the case of me and Esther being completely virtual, it was heavy collaboration all the time. And I really appreciate Shannon always being so available whenever we had questions, or just being able to chat a little bit about what was going on during the day. And even outside of working with Shannon, obviously working with everybody else in CDI, I really enjoyed that part of it, especially from like just like a personal level, but also I guess professional development. And just it was really cool to also have the space to be able to like plan things here and there, or being given like responsibilities. I think that really helped me build my professionalism. But then I think some of the challenges, there were quite a few doing a step completely virtually. But I think one of the things that was really frustrating for me and Esther, who was the other step assistant with me, was really trying to create a sense of community. And I'll be honest, I know there are times where we just did not really get or achieve what we wanted. And I think it's, you don't just see that like within like this type of programming, but even in classrooms right now, it's really hard to connect with people. And so I know me and Esther really wanted to continuously find ways to really create a community, but sometimes that's just so hard over a virtual space. But I think we try to make up for that by assisting with like, any like concerns with like schoolwork, technology. I was like, maybe we're not really going to succeed in this area, but at the very least, I wanted to make sure everybody was, getting connected to what they needed to, getting their work done. And so, I think it was hard and really frustrating, but I was still really proud by the end. I mean, Esther tried to really create that sense of community.
Thank you. And so with that, as I mentioned, I'm gonna have Alicia take it over for Alicia's gonna ask another question or two to the panel, and then after that, we're really gonna open it up and just allow you all as the audience and participants to ask any questions that you may have. So yeah, Alicia, you wanna yeah, go from here in moderating.
Okay. Hi guys. So, first question, what did a typical day look for you guys?
I would say the typical day would be you kind of knew what to expect the day before. If you're kind of planning the week, luckily the week is scheduled to a set schedule pretty much that goes on weekly. But I would say it's always checking in with your step assistants, always checking in, okay, what do we do or what do we need with our immediate needs? Because you never know what happens the night before or that morning. Sometimes you have morning things that come up. So checking in with your step assistant, checking in with Shannon and CDI team. And then dividing and conquering. Luckily you have a partner. I had two. You have another, and luckily you be able to kind of divide and conquer. And you all have different skill sets. So some folks are really good at organization. Some folks are good with like the logistics and planning. Some folks are just good with kind of both. And so you kind of figure out what you are good at and your step assistant is good at, and then y'all plan accordingly to kind of tackle whatever y'all need to tackle. But you never know. Really, you never know necessarily what might happen the night before, the day of, but you do know that students are in class from this time to this time, lunch is kind of this time, and night looks like this.
Yeah, for me, it usually started with me and the other sub assistant. We would FaceTime each other and pretty much stay on FaceTime for the entire day unless we had some sort of event or another meeting to be at. And I think that really allowed us to create bonding, but also like to just create the sensation that we were like really working on things together. And so usually we would take care of, immediate tasks, whether that was like looking through emails or, if there was something that Shannon sent to us overnight or a student was, raising a concern. Then usually we have a check-in with Shannon, taking care of office hours. And then on Fridays was usually when we had all the different workshops and events. So on those days, Esther and I would do lots of like technology help, like making sure, screen share was good, if we're doing breakout rooms. Uh, and so when we will also collaborate from time to time on, kind of coordinating all of the workshops, and just making sure that agendas were sort of ready to go. And if there was any sort of suggestions that the CDI professional staff needed, Esther and I would help with that.
So I know that this next summer might look very different than the STEP experience that Joshua and I had. But I think, as Jenny mentioned, a lot of it is kind of the same essentially. Like, you're going to wake up each day, check in with Shannon, see what tasks need to be done, see where there's work that needs to be done in terms of creating programming. But I also really enjoyed the trainings. I remember before the STEPA students arrived, we did trainings with CDI staff where we really gained the tools necessary to essentially be a mentor and be, someone in these students' lives who they can go to navigate like the waters that is college. Because, everything I feel like, especially in COVID, is so unpredictable. And, when you're coming straight out of high school into college, like it's definitely not easy. So I would just definitely say like expect on an average day to really, rely on your other step assistant, and don't be afraid to ask for help from CDI staff. And as Joshua said, like definitely know your skill sets and that of your partner, and definitely divide and conquer. So.
Okay, thank you. So next question I have is, what are the perks or benefits that come with this position?
Well, sorry. I think kind of what I was speaking to earlier, I think developing that relationship with CDI professional staff, but also your staff assistant is really one of the biggest benefits. My co-step assistant, I knew her a little bit before we worked over the summer, but because we had just spent so much time obviously working together, now I have like, really close friend and someone that I can kind of rely on, and we'll still text each other, FaceTime just to check in. And so for me that was something really meaningful, and to know that I was working, in an environment where we kind of had, the sense of like freedom to be able to collaborate, uh, create some community building events wherever we could kind of fit it. But I think also it was just really nice to be able to help like incoming students, because I know personally, like as an incoming freshman, I was so lost. And I really think it's awesome that like AU has a program for the summer to help people kind of get adjusted. And just being able to like help with something like that, I think it's a really great experience, gives you a different perspective, and I think a greater appreciation for like the things you kind of go through later on while you're at AU.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so many benefits. I mean, all of the things that Shannon mentioned and what we talked about. I mean, this was my first like summer job in DC. It's my first summer job like after I did STEP program. It was great. You get to meet coworkers or friends that you work with, grow with, that you might not be close to, that you might not know. You get to have that mentorship piece. You get paid pretty good pay. You have the opportunity. You will have the opportunity to stay on campus. And you have the opportunity to make an impact and to learn more about AU. You kind of know about AU, you know about resources going through STEP, or if you haven't gone through STEP through personal experience, but you really get to learn more. Like I felt like after I left this position that I knew basically everything that I could for myself and for other folks. So it's really, I mean, there's so many benefits and perks that I thought it was one of the best summer jobs I ever had. Really.
I really want to echo what Joshua said because that's so true. Like, you really do get acquainted with just the networking opportunities that exist both on campus and off campus, and really just getting experience working in DC. This was also my first job in DC over the summer, so it was really nice to sort of spend time you know, working in this program and building my professional skills like within the context of STEP, but also just thinking about, okay, well, what am I going to do with the rest of college? And sort of having like a friendly face in like each department on campus or, with ASAC or, the AU abroad office or whatever it may be. Like those are relationships that are going to carry you through the rest of your time at AU. So I definitely think utilizing those is a huge benefit. And as well as, really getting to know these students and being able to help them is a huge plus.
So I just kind of want to take this time right now to open up questions to the audience. If anyone has any questions for our STEP assistants while we're here. If anyone doesn't have any questions, I just have one more question for you guys. If you could give any incoming people, like incoming STEP assistants, what would you give them for advice in this position?
I would say have fun. I think we all know that this has just been such a tough time to be in college. Graduating, Christina and I, and Jenny too, like it's hard. It's hard. And I think that, it's a hard way to exit and it's a hard way to enter. So being cognizant of that, embracing that, having fun with it. Folks will be graduating from high school trying to figure out what is college in the pandemic like. Of course, I think it'll be drastically different than fall 2021. Or not drastically different, but it'll be different than right it is right now. But it's still Zoom University. It's still virtual reality. It's still dealing with the onset of COVID and the disparities that come with it. So just be mindful of that. Meet them where they are, but have fun, because folks will really feed off the energy that you give them, and they will see, and react the way that you respond to this virtual format. So really embrace it and try to see yourself in it. Recommend.
So, my main piece of advice would be to think about what you needed most as an incoming college student, and all the challenges that come with that, and sort of root your approach to being a step assistant in that. Um, sort of answering this question like, what did I need and what did I wish I would have known before coming into AU, and making sure that like those incoming students get that. That would be my main way to go about it.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give is to just not be super worried about like the smaller things. Like, kind of what Joshua was saying, I think it's important that you try to enjoy the the position. And I know like, and I speak from experience of like just fretting about, oh my gosh, like I want this to be better, or, I feel like I'm not really doing enough. But I think it's kind of reassessing like, well, I know like this is what I'm good at, so let me focus on this and let me not worry so much about where things can go wrong. And in that same vein, I think you'll be working with another assistant, so also really rely on them. They will really like hold you up through it. Without Esther, I just don't know. Like, she really was such an awesome step assistant to work with. And, everyone has their own strengths and skills. So we just found our balance. And I think that really carried us to the end. So basically, rely on your step assistant. They are your buddy. And, definitely don't fret too much about the small things. And if there's really concerns, bring that up. Don't suffer in silence. That's like my favorite motto. Don't suffer in silence as a step assistant or as a student. So yeah.
Well, I just want to say like thank you guys so much for answering all my questions. And especially coming from like a step student myself and being on Zoom University, like that is so huge. And like I know you guys put so much into that and like do so much and try and bring on all that energy that we would have had in person on in line. And like I just think that's so big. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. And as I'm popping back in, I just wanted to really, really, really say thank you all. Yeah, I you all were amazing. You all continue to be amazing. As I mentioned, I was the supervisor for those who have been step assistants, as well as for those who were in step. Also, seeing them come to the points that they're in now. So it's just amazing the growth I've seen from you all in your positions and as students, and the fact that y'all about to cross that finish line soon. So yeah, congrats to y'all. Um, so I also wanted to ask, yeah, if there were any remaining questions. I know there was a presentation I did earlier. We just had the panel, and just wondering if there may have been any other questions that have maybe popped up since then. And I see, yeah, we have a hand raised. So yeah, Chrissy.
Hi, sorry, and this may have been answered, but my Wi-Fi has been going in and out, so I'm popping forth. But what was the biggest like skill set that you took into it? Like that was the that you used to the most of your advantage, I guess, like that you already had.
I would say that I'm a pretty like creative, innovative thinker in terms of like programming and things, and I'm pretty good at that and coming up with like some graphics and stuff. And so I kind of think I took that kind of role a little bit, just a little bit, and letting my creative juices in terms of we did like a weekly like newsletter and things like that, and some print materials, and just trying to be creative in that format. So I think that's what I brought to the table. I don't know, Christina could tell you otherwise.
No, no, Joshua was great. And I want to echo that as well. Like, I loved being creative in this role. Like, it would be some random like day and we'd be like, oh, what if we threw like a movie night and we got everyone, to watch a movie. And I think we watched scary movies. Or, we were able to do things in DC. And I know it'll be a little different this summer. So, I can't really tell you what to expect going into it. But overall, just like, don't be afraid to be creative. Like, definitely like hone in on your skills and like use them to like, make great programming.
Thank you.
And then just really quickly, the one thing that in my case I felt like was just being really adaptable, especially with us being virtual. Like things were just, you know, so different to how they would do it in person. So it really required me and Esther to just kind of, you know, help out where help was needed, and to just sort of, not necessarily just go with the flow, but to just be really flexible. And I think it was really doable because, you know, everyone was really willing to make it such a successful program. Since it was once again virtual, we really were trying so hard to make sure that people were getting what they needed. And so that was that. But also, just like I said, a very specific instance. Me and Esther were both facilitators, dialogue facilitators. So I know one time we did like a very miniature dialogue for our participants. So that was like really cool to be able to like not just be, you know, doing our typical assistant role, but to also be able to bring in being dialogue facilitators too.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
was super helpful.
Yeah, great question. Great question. Yeah, are there any more questions? Anything that comes to mind? Okay. Well, with that being said, I once again want to thank you all for coming out. Our email is cdi@american.edu. So you can still feel free, send us any emails, any questions or anything that you have. Um, I believe you all know where the website is, but if not, I can put the link in here right now because as of today, the application has gone live for Step Assistant. And I will actually put the link in here right now. So definitely, you know, feel free. You can begin applying for the Step Assistant position. Any friends that you know who may be interested in the position as well. So there we go. I just dropped a link. That takes us to CDI's web page and the Step Assistant section where it has more information. We're going to work to try to put the recording on that page as well as in addition to the PowerPoint presentation that I did earlier with more information about the position. But yeah, with that being said, feel free to email us any questions, contact us, anything like that. We definitely thank you for coming out, and we look forward to the process as we're applying and going into STEP, the 2021 cohort. All right. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all.